Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and I wanted to talk about this message that I was just kind of getting when I was doing a TikTok. It was just about getting stuff done that you've been putting off, or letting go of something that you've been afraid to let go of, or something that you've been wanting to act on that maybe you've been afraid to act on, and just kind of doing it, kind of almost forcing yourself to do it, kind of just like cleaning house, just kind of like clearing a lot of energy. And sometimes it's just kind of like doing that thing or talking to that person and making sure that you're doing that thing you've been putting off for so long. And then once you get it done, once you get past it, once you go through a lot of initiations at different frequencies and accessing so much different knowledge and doing a lot of research on that, energetically, and also it could be physically, you allow yourself to get a lot more done, and you allow yourself to generate something I call a ripple effect within creation. And you allow yourself to really collapse a lot of timelines that you've been perpetuating, but also generating and attracting to yourself. And when you just kind of get it done and you get it out of the way and you just do what you need to do, what you're doing is that you're creating space so that you can create differently. And when you're able to create space in order to create differently, that means you're changing the narrative of the creation or the manifestation or what you're attracting to yourself, and you're changing the story that you're assuming yourself to be, but also you're just kind of forcing yourself to just do it, just get it done, just allow yourself to act on that action that you've been afraid to act on, which is changing the circumstance or the experience or the situation at hand, which is allowing you to really mass produce a new illusion that fits more within your vibration. It fits more into your alignment. It fits more into what you want to bring about creation. So it allows more to come into your life as you are just getting those things done that you've been putting off. So it could mean something that Spirit told you to do, but you waited a week and to do it, and then you did it, and then you realize all the blessings that you've been withholding for yourself, but also what you've not been receiving by resistance, by not wanting to heal, or being hard-headed and things of that nature. We allow ourselves to really see ourselves when we just allow ourselves to really get it done and get it out of the way, and just allow ourselves to accomplish those goals and those dreams and those ambitions. And some of them can be very minuscule, some of them can be very minute, some of them can be very small, but very small steps allows us to quantum leap. It allows us to shift into that vibration, but allows us to really gather all of that will within ourselves, and it allows us to see ourselves in a much completely different light. But this allows us to use the law of subtraction, but this is a form of letting go, and also this is a form of action, of drive, of ambition, of wanting to call out your spirit and knowing that you're aligning more to your reality instead of doing the things where it's more resistance, it's more of suffering, or it's more coming out of a state of fear and a state of lack and a state of codependency on yourself. And then you kind of ditch that and you're like, I'm just going to do this today. I'm going to just switch to the flip, and I'm just going to initiate a new state of consciousness. I'm going to initiate a new state of being. I'm just going to call out my destiny here and now, and I'm just going to get it done. What that is doing is that it's clearing out all of the other stuff that is hindering you or limiting you or making you feel boxed in. And then what it's doing is that it's creating more space and pushing you outside of your comfort zone. And when it's allowing you to push outside of your comfort zone, then you start stretching and you start growing and you start emulating that light, and you start culminating this, and you start really reflecting the truth that you are instead of what you are not. So you're confirming what you are and you're confirming what you're not. So you're literally just weeding out all of the other bad apples, and you're just really allowing yourself to kind of see in a much different light, but also initiate another stage of manifestation. Which this is doing is really allowing the universe to know and to allow and to move on your behalf, but allowing the universe to be channeled through you so that you can become the heart of the universe, and you're having complete allowance within that, because it's a state of reception when you finally do something that you're very fearful of, and you push yourself to do it, and you allow yourself to make that newfound choice or that newfound realization, and then you meditate maybe in a different light, Maybe you're meditating a lot differently. Maybe you learned a healing modality. But it doesn't matter what it is. It's just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone so that you're allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, but be comfortable with your uncomfortability. So it's kind of like being comfortable with being uncomfortable, meaning that you don't see the challenge as an obstacle or a catalyst, because then we're not looking at our circumstances and experiences as catalysts, even though they are catalysts, but we're not looking at them from that negative lens, or we're not looking at the full moon as a negative thing, or we're not looking at clearing within ourselves and letting go within ourselves as a bad thing. So this is how we shift the empowerment and shift the energy to our advantage, and we're allowing ourselves to kind of put it on the divine, that I'm getting these things done, I'm acting on the things that I'm acting on, I'm professing what I really want, what I really desire, and I'm allowing my desires to really come to life, and I'm acting as a human vortex, as an electromagnetic kinetic source energy that is bringing about this abundance, because that's what you are. So if that's what you are energy, you are consciousness, you are God manifested in human form, you are the I Am Presence. So the ability to just make the decision that I'm going to really change the story, change my vocabulary, change the narrative, but also change the direction of my life. When you have the ability to just get it done, that means that you don't care what you have to do if it's just going to the store. Some of us have a difficulty because we're in path of just going to the store. Even if it's just telling yourself that you love yourself, or if you're having a moment of healing and you're not allowing yourself to give yourself that moment of healing. Maybe it's a moment of silence. But those little small steps will allow you to have quantum leaps, and it will allow you to transverse space and time, because what you're trying to access is many different personality traits, but also parallel aspects within yourself. But also what you're doing is that you're culminating and encapsulating the energy of just kind of getting it done, not complaining about it, not overthinking it, but just kind of doing it, but not out of a ridiculous impulse, but you're doing it out of the seeking impulse. Then that doesn't make it ridiculous. Because if you do things just out of impulse, then you're reactatory, right? Then you're just reacting to everything. But if you're doing something from being proactive, that means that you're using the seeking impulse, listening to the emotional guidance system. And when something kicks in that doesn't really feel good, that doesn't feel in resonance, that doesn't feel like it's really bringing you joy and happiness and alignment, that's a reflection. So it's reflecting to you that you're not using your emotions as a way of ammunition. You're not using your truth as a way of living. You're not using your meditation as a way of progression and elevation, but also bringing reality towards you and creating reality within that present moment. So when you just have the ability to get it done, what that means is that you're choosing to subtract so that you can add more into your space, but then you're able to attract more. A lot of people don't talk about this. I've talked about this for years, because I feel like people are like, oh, say these things and then you'll manifest that. But what if you have a lot of blockages? What if you have a lot of things to do in your life and you're not doing them? What if you need to really heal and you won't be able to encompass those blessings if you don't let go of that stuff and elevate and subtract, so that you can add more within your space, so that you can be a living, breathing vortex of creation. So, but this isn't just about manifestation, but this is just a way of life. If you don't put things off, if you just do things, if you just listen to spirit and you follow the guidance and you follow your own intuition and you come from your gut instincts, which aligns to your heart and aligns to your mind, so that there's a sense of cohesion. Because what is that? That is the infinity 8 symbol. That means you're becoming infinity. That means there's a fine balance of masculine and the fine balance of feminine. And then there's a fine balance between light and dark within the gut instincts. Because if you listen to your gut most of the time, it kind of lets you know like what you need to do. But you have to infuse it with cohesion within here, with a cognizance, with an awareness in your thinking. And you have to come from your heart, because you're coming from the heart of the matter, you're coming from the truth of everything. Because then you're inviting the spirit within yourself. So sometimes in the midst of being fearful or in the midst of feeling that, you have to experience it and you have to completely go against it, because if you don't, then you don't get past it. So it's kind of like you said, because of fear, I don't know what my intuition and gut is most of the time. So when you're coming from a state of lack or fear or lack of awareness of worthiness, when you're coming from that, that means that you're coming from a place of resistance or fight or flight. So every time that the fear kicks in, you either fight or you fly. So I'm sensing maybe you fly in that moment. But to get yourself to not fight or flight is to just give yourself a moment of clarity. To really think about, is this fear progressing my journey? Is this fear elevating my energy? Is this allowing me to make decisions that are impactful for my overall growth? So I hope that gave you somewhat of an answer. So our intuition is guided by our seeking impulse, and that's what this live is mostly about. And we're also going to do a meditation, and also on White Wolf. If you've never been here before, that was my opening for this live. And also I have private sessions that you can book. I have 140 for 1 hour and 240 for 2 hours if you want additional time. So what I really wanted to talk about was the seeking impulse. By allowing yourself to not push things off and to not put things on the back burner, to not put everything on hold, or your dreams or your desires or your truth on hold, because once you put that on hold, then you're holding up the universe blessing you. You're holding up the universe and putting it to a halt. Instead, you should just have this flow within your life. If you allow for the constant flow of abundance within your life, if you just let go of worry and fear and anxiety, then you're allowing flow in. If you always are stressed or pissed off about something, then you're always going to be stressed and pissed off about something. If you're even very direct in that moment, I'm not saying that you have to be happy in that moment when you're in the seeking impulse and acting on things that you haven't been acting on. But sometimes you can be really crystal clear and direct, and you just want everybody to get the fuck out of your way. You don't always have to be happy-go-lucky, and I'm not saying that you are, but you get to that point where you can be happy-go-lucky all the time. But even in the midst of that, you'll feel the sudden shift in the balancing of your energy. Because when you're not coming from the seeking impulse, you're coming from here, and then you get lost in these thought patterns, and you get lost in this emotion, and then you get lost in this identity of the past self. Now you are coming from the seeking impulse, and you're coming from your heart's desire, and you're actually being cognizant and aware, and you're actually thinking about what you're doing, about your choices, about what you can have instead of all the things that you can't have or can't do, or because of this, right? So now you're able to come from a source of energy. You're actually becoming source in human form, which is really allowing the higher self to direct instead of your mind directing you. So because the higher self will always channel through you, and you will see from a much different lens because you're having complete allowance to be that channel. See, because the higher self knows the right emotion, the action, the alignment, the truth, the ecstasy within yourself, will always design that by how you want to live your life. So because this is the point where you're losing control. Now, losing control is not being controlling. To let go of the control or the idea or the attachment of being controlling. So just getting something done is kind of you making the decision to allow the universe to guide you as the vehicle, and the higher self is taking the vessel, not taking the vessel, but you understand what I mean, has taken hold of the vessel, and you're like the car that drives itself. So when you allow yourself to let go of what you can't control, that means that you're not coming from a place of control and dictatorship and service to self. But you have to ditch control. We can't control everything in our lives. We can't control how we feel all the time. We can, in a sense, but if you have to experience that emotion or that catalyst or that situation, then that's just in your life's journey and your reflection. But if you have the ability to say, like, is this emotion serving me? Is me putting something off serving me in my greater union, in my greater implication of what I want to be as source energy? Is this identity of my past and all the things that I've done in my past helping me collect more of myself and my intuition and generating spiritual mass within myself, which is light, which is purity of mind, body, and spirit, which is you activating the higher self within yourself. So it's kind of like when you make the decision that I'm going to get this done, even if it's stressful, even if it's enduring, or even if I have to keep doing it and doing it and doing it, but because I can always do it in another way. So when we ditch control, when we ditch lack, and we ditch unworthiness, what we're doing is we're choosing not to control our lives, and we're allowing our lives to unfold as it should. But then that's acceptance. And that's one of the biggest points that I wanted to get out within this live was acceptance beyond what you think is possible, acceptance beyond your own personal biases, but acceptance of who you are in this moment and knowing that you can elevate and progress from this moment on. So we can't be controlling within our lives. We can't choose to be controlling, because if we do that, then we are feeling into sensations and illusions and sense perceptions that are from a muddled state of view, because it's almost like this. We're living our lives not choosing to see everything because we have to close our eyes in order to see everything. So it's the internal work, our relationship with the Creator, and then it's our outer work as the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom that allows us to shapeshift into what we want to become. So there's many different things that we can shapeshift into. And I've always used this example of the shapeshifter. It's a shamanic soul. And if you might have watched Supernatural and other TV shows like that, if you haven't. But how I use the shapeshifter isn't in that vein. It's not in the dark vein, but it's in the light vein. So the shapeshifter, it could be a wealthy person. It could be a person that's healthy and in shape. It could be a person that's funny, that loves to laugh. It could be a person that's very direct and knows how to handle business. So we take the shape of everything in our lives. So if we have anger, stress, worry, and anxiety, we are a negative shapeshifter, right? But if we're a positive shapeshifter, then we will shape ourselves in the position, in the activation of what we want to become in that moment. Because we can be that person that has a wonderful, bright personality, that's funny, that's wealthy, that's healthy, that knows how to handle business, that wants to help people with service to others. So we shapeshift into everything that we want to become ultimately. But in order to activate those things, we have to heal, we have to let go, we have to step out of the revolving door, and we have to change our persona, change our vision, change our intention. And the manifestation is becoming the manifestation of life. It's not about a manifestation, but it's the ecstasy of the meditation and the manifestation and the intentions and the ideas that come out of you through your channel of spirit. So that analogy of being the shapeshifter is really having the understanding that you shapeshift into everything that you want to become. You don't have to take on the energy of today. You don't have to take on other people's energy. You don't have to allow that emotion to take over your life. You don't have to be lacking of anything. You can have gratitude. You just have to dish out expectation. And have acceptance towards what you don't see, and have acceptance beyond your own personal biases. And then live by your truth always, because that will allow you to really delve deep into the seeking impulse. And then you're just kind of connecting the dots here and there. And then you're giving yourself an outline. You're giving yourself that deep water horizon, which is kind of outlining everything that you need to do. But it's not linear. It doesn't matter what the line looks like. It doesn't even have to look like how I'm describing it. But even how I'm describing it, to some of you, it's making perfect sense and it's giving you a vision. You have to give yourself vision so that you can be provision. So if you don't give yourself a vision, you don't have nothing to go on. If you don't give yourself something to look at, something to see, some of you are visual people. You know, some of you are visual people. Sometimes you have to look at something. Sometimes you have to go about something. Sometimes people are with scent or hearing. You know, some of you are so different and complex. So give yourself something to go on. Just get it done. Use that intention. Have the will and embrace your free will to do the things that you want to do and that you want to accomplish, and just implement it. So we're going to do, I'm going to see with my guides what they want me to do. I think a meditation. Let's just do that. Let's just do a meditation. That seems fitting. So with this meditation, you can allow yourself to relax. You can allow yourself to really tap in. And you can allow yourself to let go of the allegiances that you have with anything. So in this moment, you can allow yourself to take a deep breath and relax. Relax your definition, relax your face, relax your neck, your shoulders, your legs if you need to. And in this moment, what do you want? How do you want to go about it? Do you want to have appreciation towards your life and acceptance towards everything, to life unfolding, to being the generation of energy? And when I said being, you are the being before the being is aware. And you are the I am presence that generates every type of I am presence, as the creator of your reality, but also as the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, the emulator, the light, the love, the wisdom within yourself, is showing you that the seeking impulse is always a way to reflect back, but to demonstrate, but to be your biggest teacher and to be the thing that allows you to thrive above all else. Because this means that you are going the road less traveled, and this means that you have to completely sever the ties with ego, with vanity, with unworthiness, with lack, because none of those things are real. And you have to completely ditch control over your life. You can't be a dictator. You can't force your manifestations. You can't feel like a champion if you don't feel like one right now. You can have a rich life right now. You can be blessed and healthy in this moment, but you have to choose to be that way, and you have to choose to embrace the free will. And even if you have to figure it out, it doesn't have to be today. But there's many different avenues and many different ways to generate creations, generate revenue, and be able to be of service in any way that you can. It's not even doing what I'm doing, but it's really just figuring out what you want to do. That's what's important, because the seeking impulse, the higher self, your guides, and God want you to channel all of their essences so that you become the essence. We embrace the spirit because then it allows us to come from the gut instincts, the heart, and the mind with a lot of cohesion. We have to take that deep breath to have that sense of release. We have to take that big step, because if we don't know, then we never tried. We never went for it. We never dared to dream of something different. Because we have to be bold, because Source favors the bold, the courageous, and the beautiful. It doesn't matter how tall you are, what you look like, there is acceptance for you, there is love for you. But you have to completely change the personality, you have to change the way you think, change the intention, know what your vision is, and then become that prophetic vision that you want to put into this universe. To prophesy who you are is to call everything into the present, which is allowing you to channel the energy of the future. The only way that we generate abundance is if we choose to call in the abundance, to project the abundance, and to claim the overwhelming abundance within our lives. And did you feel the power of the silence? The silence molds you into who you want to be, because that's where the heart of creation happens. Is when you get grounded, you get centered, and you get very quiet, and you seek out what you really want out of your life. And sometimes it doesn't have to be very complex. Sometimes it doesn't have to be very direct on what you want and what you desire. But sometimes being simplistic is very complex. And sometimes when you just give up the fight, you choose to let go and you choose to receive, which is healing, then you will always give and receive, always. You will always see why it makes sense. You'll see why it always allows you to be the leader that you want, leading by example. When you have the ability to just get it done, that means that you will always choose the journey itself. You will always choose alignment. You will always choose grace. And you will always choose to be the presence of the Oracle of Divine Wisdom. And this means that you completely change what is around you. You change everything. You change the name of it. You change the identity of it. You change the energy that surrounds it. And then you're able to really play with your creation, because you're able to have the right placement. Because you're living by preference, you're living by expression, and it just validates what you're receiving and experiencing. This allows you to have faith in yourself. Real, relaxed faith. It's a guided faith because it guides you in every way. It guides you to do everything, to be everything, to know the essence of everything, but also to know that you don't have to know. It allows you to know more. And then you can really be who you want to be in every moment. And that's how we become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. That's how we become abundance. And that's how we just get it done. Just do it. Have faith. And just pull the trigger. And then the fear falls away. And then what is left is your representation of the I Am Presence. So everyone take one last deep breath. Exhale. And so it is. So I appreciate you guys for joining this live and being a part of it and letting me be a part of your lives. And also, I hope you enjoyed the meditation. I hope you enjoyed being a part of it and things of that nature. And also, you guys can book private sessions with me. This is White Wolf. I hope everyone is doing well. And also, feel free to book private sessions. It's $140 for 1 hour and $240 for 2 hours. And also, I do psychic readings, usually around 10 or 11, but if it's any later, then it'll be midnight or something like that. Usually I try to do it. I didn't do it yesterday, I was too tired. But I do those as well. So stay tuned. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And I'm going to make dinner. And I hope you guys enjoyed the meditation. I hope it was beneficial. And just remember that all things in life come to us when we have the faith, when we have the patience, and we don't separate ourselves from our resonance and our seeking impulse. That's when the greatness comes in our lives. So, I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for being a part of this live. And until next time, this is White Wolf signing off, and so it is. Goodbye.